sometimes the only thing that stops you is yourself. And if you want to be seen, there's so many ways now to like get there.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Talk at Elevation by Fan Day Nation. Today we're joined by Sophie Zadel, one of our newest Fan Day Nation brand ambassadors, and Nico Stones. Sophie is a freshman forward for the Buffs, a multi-sport athlete, a two-time national champion in cheer, an athlete of the year, and someone who's balanced elite performance with academics at every level. But beyond the stats, Sophie's story really connects to what Fan Day Nation is about. Everyone deserves to be seen, but most athletes don't know how to make that happen. Fan Day Nation helps athletes turn effort into opportunities. Visit fandaynation.com today. Well, thank you, Sophie, for joining us today.
Of course.
Yeah, so let's just get started. When was
Awesome.
the first time in your athletic career that you remember being truly seen?
I'd say probably going into my junior year, that's when I kind of really started taking off with basketball. I was doing AAU, and I was on a really good club team with a lot of kids that were older than me that had a lot of experience. It like skyrocketed for me, and I think that from there I thought like it was all going to be worth it, and that's when I kind of started to get seen and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And what can you talk about a little bit before your junior year and why you transitioned into basketball?
Yeah, so I did cheer for a long time, since probably like the 3rd or 4th grade, and I did it for super long just because all my friends and stuff. But then once I got into freshman year, we had got a new coach at our school for basketball, and he was really, really great. He's a great man for my process and everything. But so I joined to play basketball my freshman year, and I was on JV, and I really just like was balancing cheer and basketball, but cheer was like my main sport. And then I started to realize like basketball could get me so much further than cheer would.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Like at the end of sophomore year, I had a talk with my coach, and he was like, you have so much potential. You just have to like start doing things to achieve it. And so that's when I was really just like, I'm going to just quit cheer. And then once I quit cheer, I joined the club team. And just from there, I guess it just like all started to like go into place.
Do you miss cheer a lot?
I do. Like sometimes seeing people here cheer too, you know, but I think I got enough runs of cheer and stuff, and with being with all my friends and stuff. So it's definitely worth it now.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment in time where you just fell in love with basketball?
Definitely. I'd say at first it was really hard because I just didn't have the talent yet, or like had the skills that some did, so it just wasn't fun for me. But then I think after my sophomore summer going into junior year, that really like it hit for me that it was so much fun, and like I really just loved the sport, and I just loved the people that it brought as well, like AAU and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So going beyond athletics, you were a 4-time academic all-district athlete. How important is it to you to be seen as someone who doesn't just play sports, but is also, you know, a person too, and academic honors and stuff like that?
Right. I definitely love like my outside life outside of basketball. My parents have always put me in extracurricular activities, like I was in orchestra and stuff like that. So my family was just very big on school and stuff. So just getting good grades, and I went to a school that it was very much like academic based too, so that was definitely a big thing. But I think it's really important for people to see like student athletes as both as well, because, you know, I have some teammates that are just like insanely smart and biochemical engineers and stuff like that. And so, you know, there's definitely more to it and stuff.
Yeah. And your parents, I know your dad was a player. Was your mom an athlete as well?
She like dabbled, I'd say.
Yeah.
She played field hockey, she says, and played a little bit of basketball, but it was mainly like my dad played a lot of sports and stuff.
Yeah. That's what drew you to it?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. When you're accomplishing a lot at a young age, does that create pressure for yourself to keep proving yourself?
I'd say sometimes, yeah, but then it's just like, what do you do with the pressure?
Yeah.
I've always been in sports since I was young, but like I changed a lot. So I never really truly got to stick to a sport, which is why I think I never had like an immense amount of pressure, because people were like, you know, you've only done the sport for so long. So, you know, like you have so much more potential, so we're going to give you grace kind of period. So I'd say that for me personally, I didn't receive just like a lot of pressure being like a young kid successful at a sport. I just look at it more as like an opportunity to like be able to get somewhere with it, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like a lot of people feel like too much and like it stresses them out. So So tell me about your injury and how that affected your athletic career in high school and now in college.
Yeah, well, I tore it right when I really started to get highly recruited. I'd say like going into my senior year, we were at one of the bigger AU tournaments with my high school team, and I tore my ACL. And I'd say I was just pretty butthurt because, I was like, finally, I have my moment.
Yeah.
But it was all okay in the end. I mean, obviously now, it really sucked at the beginning, though. I mean, like the process, it's just a year-long recovery, and there's so many things that come with it, and it's so mental and all of that. But I thought the coaching staff here has done such a good job with like really, really just being there for me. And there's so many resources here to get stronger. Like our strength and conditioning coach is awesome. And I'd say I recovered really well because I came here and all the PT prior and stuff. But I think injury really led me to just be a little stronger, like mentally, because obviously the sport is super mental as well. So I'd say it helped me in the end, but the process definitely was not fun.
Yeah, I bet not.
Yeah.
How hard was it, like, to go to rehab and fix it and then come back to the sport? Are you ever scared, like, it's going to happen again?
I'd say, like, during the whole year, as I was a senior, it really, really sucked just because, like, I'd see my teammates playing and I'm sitting there. And then, like, when they had practice, I would go do my PT. So it was just such a long, long process, and it was super repetitive. But, yeah, and then I'd say right now, I just go on the court and just, like, if you have confidence, like, I think I worked so hard in PT that I trust, like, the process and everything.
Like, your leg
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I had a good surgeon. So I think that now I'm not afraid. I used to be. And there's also obviously like process and steps with it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing to go through.
Yeah.
I myself tore both of mine. So,
Really?
but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to call, I just tore it and then that was it. So I totally understand. So as a freshman, going from high school to college, what is something that you want to tell freshman athletes that they may not know?
I'd say just trust the process. I think for any freshman, whether you were highly recruited out of high school or barely, I'd say that no matter what, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard. There's going to be good days, bad days. But, like, what do you do with those days? Like, I found that talking to my coaches more and communicating has helped me a lot. And I'd say really just set a goal for yourself that's achievable, and really just like appreciate the little things, and also just don't be too hard on yourself, because obviously coming from high school to college, it's a completely different game, a lot faster, a lot stronger, more physical. So I'd say just really, I don't know, just, take it as you want. But yeah.
Yeah. Was there a culture shock coming to college?
I'd say for sure, honestly. I lived a pretty at home, like my days were pretty similar, and everything. And then I come to college and everything is just so happening super fast. Like I'll have a morning class and then straight to lunch, and then I go straight to practice for 3 to 4 hours. So it's just like the days are a lot longer, I'd say, and a little more challenging.
Yeah.
And coming from Texas to Colorado, that was definitely a jump too. But yeah.
What's been your favorite thing about just living in Colorado?
I really just love the weather. I think the weather's great. Like, it's 60 degrees right now and sunny, and it's February. So I think I'm just really liking that. And also just the mountains are beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens, in your opinion, to athletes who never get that moment of being seen?
Honestly, that's a hard question. I would say that, like, I had a lot of teammates that had a ton of talent, but just didn't want to, like, put effort out there and stuff like that. And I think that sometimes the only thing that stops you is yourself. And if you want to be seen, there's so many ways now to, like, get there. And I think that a lot of the time it's just a lot of people limiting themselves to, like, putting themselves out there or working a little harder or stuff like that. Because I think at the end of the day, you can be seen anywhere, we've seen. So I think, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Why is it so important for athletes, especially now with all the social media and websites and everything that people have? Why is it so important to put yourself out there, like, in early stages of your athletic career?
Right. No, for sure. I'd say it's super important because obviously with recruiting and everything, you want to put yourself out there so they see you. And then when you're in college, get all the side stuff that come with it. But I think that putting yourself out there just will create a better image for yourself, show who you really are, because I think it's really hard nowadays because a lot of people see student athletes and they just see them as like an athlete and just like somebody that produces every Wednesday, Sunday night for them, but not as truly like a person. So I think like promoting yourself is really good to be able to show people that I'm not just the athlete. I do all this other stuff, but it contributes to the person I am on the court and everything. So yeah, sure.
Have you ever felt that people just see you as an athlete?
I'd say for sure, and I've done the same to other people. I'd say like going on social media, you see somebody and you're like, you watch how they play, and people are so easy to like criticize and everything. So, it's just like the social norm now that definitely is not totally correct, but definitely there's times where I see people and I'm just like, wow, like it's so different. But then now I'm in the position and I'm like, I hope to put myself out there and really show people what I am.
For sure. Well, that's hopefully we can help you do that. Yeah. So how did you first hear about Fan Day Nation and what stood out about it to you?
I first heard about Fan Day Nation from Matt, my coach. Mm-hmm. He went on the podcast and I watched it. And I loved it because I really love just like the whole message behind it and like really promoting student athletes and just people in general that are, with the whole athletics and everything. But I think it's really cool that people are able to, there's like so many resources now that are available to put people out there.
Absolutely. What does it mean to have this platform to highlight who you are and like we talked about, just not just an athlete, but as a person too?
Right. I'd say for me, I came from a very different way of getting to the basketball life and everything. So I think it's pretty cool to show people that kind of were in my position who started late that like it can all work out. And if you really just commit, put in the hard work and really just put all the side stuff to the side and like really just commit to something like basketball and like really just seeing a process, I think it's really cool. And I hope that I can help younger people believe in themselves that they can do the same.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of younger athletes who feel like overlooked right now, like they feel like they're putting all this work in for nothing because they're not getting that attention, what would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that you will be seen. Anyone can be seen. I worked really hard this one summer going into my junior year, obviously, and every day it was just me and my coach, nobody else, no cameras, nothing. It was just us, and really, I mean, it was so hard. Like, you're waking up at 6 a.m. and you're like, am I even doing this for a reason? And then you just have to keep going no matter what, with results or no results, because honestly, I really just did it for myself and I wanted to prove people wrong. And so me continuing to show up really just helps. I think for anyone, showing up is the most important part and the hardest part. Showing up for yourself, showing up for your family. And if you continue to do that, really it will come, and obviously there's like side stuff that everyone wants to talk about, but the only really thing is a process. And a lot of people don't love the process, so they want to skip through it to get to like the finished result. But there's a process to everything, so just taking it with a grain of salt your whole way through.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, what a great message. I'm gonna take that to heart too. My last question for you is, how do you want people to remember you, not just as an athlete but as a person as well?
I'd say just seeing me as somebody that will always be there for you. I think I really like to be there for my teammates and be that person, because I would want the same for my teammates to do that for me. And I'd want people to remember me as just a hard worker that worked hard to get here and know that everything is possible as long as you're just determined.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, good luck the rest of the season, and we'll be watching you the rest of your career at CU, and hopefully, I know you want to go professional. Is that your goal at the end? So,
yes, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to have you more on Fan Day Nation.
Thank you.
Where can everyone find you on social media and stuff?
You can find me at Sophie Zadel on pretty much everything. I think Twitter is Zadel Sophie, but yeah, pretty much everything is Sophie Zadel.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, everyone. This was the Talk at Elevation, and we will see you next time.